Again, my name is James Bledsoe. I'm with the College of Arts and Sciences at Washington State University, Pullman. Been with WSU now 21 years. I started out as a recruiter, and then I saw that focus was kind of going away, or there were enough people recruiting to I felt like, okay, I've done enough. And then I got into retention work on campus and helping students to stay in school and go through student development type experiences. And then I got into academic advising when I saw that, I think I better learn how to help students navigate towards a degree. And then as I did that, I discovered, now this is over many years, I decided, you know what? You can help a student to navigate toward a degree, but if you can't help them understand what to do with that degree, then I need to get back in a personal growth mindset. So I went back to school and got some more degrees, a couple of master's degrees in career and technical education and instructional design. And so my thing is to help people go to college, stay in college, develop while they're in college, and get ready to transition into the workforce and or graduate school. So that's what I'm all about here tonight. I'm going to skip some of my usual slides, and I may come back to them later. But here's the bottom line. We're going to talk about going from college to career, and we're going to go and look at some tools. And this time I'll spend a little more time because I've talked with the global campus before, and I want to be able to spend a little more time with the tools. But let me tell you what inspires me to do this kind of thing, and that is I have been on campus long enough to see a lot of employers come to campus and meet with students, meaning the Pullman campus. And what I noticed was that some people were getting interviews and other people were not. Some people were in attendance. What I'm trying to do is make sure that everyone feels comfortable in networking with employers. And that networking has to do with employers now are looking at your profiles on LinkedIn, on Handshake. We're going to look at these things, and they're kind of making decisions on who they're going to meet with even before they get to campus, right? So you got to make sure that your profile is ready to go, and it says the things that employers value. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But what I don't want you to do is, I assume most of everybody kind of knows what they're studying already and what major they've got. And so what I want you to do is don't get down on yourself if you don't know exactly what to do with your degree, or if you don't know a lot about emerging careers that are out there. A lot of times people will just, when they ask students, well, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that degree? What are you going to do with that major? And you may say, okay, I'm not really sure yet. I kind of have some ideas. But the last thing I want you to do is when someone says, well, then you need to go explore. Don't get down on yourself and feel like you're alone. And what I'm trying to do is give you a framework for that process. So always remember, you are on a pathway not just to graduate, but you are on a pathway of experiences. And so those experiences, either on the left side or the right side of the pathway, can deal with self-reflection, exploring majors. Like I say, many of you have already got a major and you've got your program of study. You got a couple of things in mind, what you want to do with it, but how you transition into that is still, you're still working on that. But on the right side is all about career education and skill building. And let me tell you, I spend a lot of time with students in those areas because I want students to broaden their perspective of what's out there and then understand what the industry wants in terms of skills, what they value, and then give yourself a chance to add those skills, either something you've done in the past that you thought wasn't relevant, or if you see something that you need in your skill set, you need time to go get it, meaning internships, part-time jobs, whatever, or even in your current job. If you have a current job, asking for increased responsibility or special projects, right? Not necessarily looking for more money while you're in that job, but you're trying to build your skill set, right? So that when you do go into your first your next big time job, right? You've got this toolbox of skills that are valued by the industry that you want to go in, that you want to go into, and you're able to network with employers the way you want to. So just remember, it's a pathway, not just to graduation, but to build your skill set, to build your resume, to build everything about you so that you can go out there and do the things that you want, that you really want to do. Secondly, I want to say this. No matter what, we can say what are some of the technical skills that you need for the workforce and what you need want to go into. We could talk all day about that, digital technology and things of that nature. But listen, you show me a good manager and I'll show you a great leader, right? And I'll show you a person that gets great opportunities for work. But right now, you all are going to inherit a skills-based economy. So you want to look for increased responsibility in everything that you do, so that you're adding, so that when a recruiter reads your resume, an employer, they see increased responsibility. They see project management in your resume and in your profile, right? And again, you're always thinking, what are the skills valued by the industry employers, by the industry that I want to go into, right? So all I want to do is show you different ways of doing that. And, you know, here's my final example here. And like I say, some of you have heard this before, but, you know, when you think about people, I'm looking at the president of Washington State University, Dr. Scholes here. He's got 10 deans that report to his office. He's got 19 department vice presidents. He's got a central office. Those are a lot of areas that he has to manage, right? The vice president, Dr. Mary Jo Gonzalez, 30 directors, 5 associate vice presidents, and the central office. She's got a lot of people that report to her, a lot of areas that she oversees, and she has to manage those. So putting yourself in the picture, right? And we're not talking about high school anymore. We're talking about college life, right? We're talking about, and then we're talking about even life after college, but putting yourself in the picture to be that leader that you want to be. If you want to be that leader you want, then let me see your management skills. That's what's important. And when I say let me see them, meaning get them on your resume in a way that highlights who you are, get them in your profiles. So right now we're going to skip away from this because that's the most time I want to spend on these slides here. So again, using past and present experience, growth mindset, build management into your resume experiences, increase your knowledge, certificates. We'll talk about that too. All of you are working toward degrees, but you can also get a little extra certificates, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Build your skills, micro internships. We'll touch on that a little bit, and then understanding the work industry framework there, okay? So I'm going to get out of this, and we'll go straight to my next page here. So I need some feedback. Give me an idea of how you feel about your LinkedIn site, because now we're going to talk about your profile. So if you feel good about your LinkedIn site, give me a yes, you know, in the chat room there. If you're not exactly comfortable with your LinkedIn site, give me a maybe. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Maybe. All right. Okay. Uh-huh. All right. So does anybody mind if I go to their site? Because I'm putting myself out there. Anybody mind if I go to their site? All right. Thank you, Aaron. All right, let's go. Aaron, have you been in one of my workshops before? Because your name looks really familiar.
I think you're going to find that you're a connection of mine when you check out my LinkedIn.
All right. I was like, man, I feel like I know Aaron. So Aaron, if you don't mind, what is it that you want to go into?
It's a bit of a harder question. So my background is in brand management, which basically was like I would be a representative for a big brand and be the between my brand manufacturer and the retail partners that sold our goods.
Yes.
And I'm going to school for communication, and I'm hoping to transition into more of like an account manager or maybe something in supply chain, crisis communication. It's still up in the air.
Okay. Now, thank you for offering that. Now, I asked you to kind of give me some feedback on that because those are the things that I think need to go into your about statement. What you just told me, particularly the end of what you said. Now, I know it's not solid in stone yet, but you got to help people see your vision. And sometimes you got to be able to put your vision in that about statement. So I'm not critiquing anything here. I'm just saying these are just little tips. I think, Aaron, you've got, everything there, the education, meaning the education listed, what you've done in different positions. And like I say, don't be afraid to write a little bit more. I'm talking to all of us now. Don't be afraid to write a little bit more in here because when I go to someone's site, let me see if I can get it. So I just get here, right? What I see here in the beginning, if I'm a recruiter, an employer, these first couple lines have to motivate me to open up and see the rest. And when you get that person to the point where they want to see the rest, that's where you can put your vision in there, the journey you've traveled, or the journey that you want to travel, right? So I'm not saying, wow, look at mine. Mine is perfect. No, 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 no. Mine is a work in progress, right? I actually try these techniques for myself that I learn about LinkedIn. And so what I'm trying to do is when you get to my page, I'm just giving you a little bit. I'm enticing you to take a look, to open up and take a look more. So I give that little statement there. Everybody has a pathway, but sometimes they just need help finding and experiencing it. And then I go into the career readiness. I'm in the process of integrating immersive technology. I want you to go ahead and finish and open that up and see where I am. Because who am I targeting? I'm targeting presidents of universities, vice presidents, people that are looking to make someone like me their next vice president of personal and professional development. So it's okay to get more text in there, but do it in a way that with those first couple of lines begins to kind of help the person see your vision for yourself and what you want to be doing. You kind of follow where I'm going with that, Aaron, on that? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Feel free. I'm trying to watch the chat room as much as I can. So, all right, anybody else? So that's where I'm starting right there. How about if I go to Kyle? Am I saying the name right? Is it Kyle or Kylie? I'm sorry if I don't get that right.
You got it, Kyle.
Thank you. Oh, Kyle, I think we just connected the other night, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, all right. So we'll be working together. Okay, so, okay, I like the background here. That's you're branding yourself. You're giving it that message. Is this what you're going to be, period? Digital marketing specialist, no matter what? Or there's some other areas that you're looking at as well in that industry?
Right now, I'm looking to transition into this specific position. So I actually, if you look at my about there, I had 8 years of hospitality business management experience for the past 8 years. And we all know the hospitality industry is not doing so good right now. So I'm currently undergoing an apprenticeship while I complete my degree. And, I'm completing it with someone who is a digital marketing specialist. And that's kind of where I'm learning the ropes. He's teaching me everything I need to know. And at the end of it, I made a network connection to be transferred into a partner in agency. So he's going to promote me and recruit me into one of his other agencies. So landing a job there.
Absolutely. And so as we looked at if we talk about the trajectory here, what's the next step? Like, is there a senior digital marketing specialist or pretty much that's just?
Yep, okay. You got it. Yep.
So if I talk about a senior marketing specialist, digital marketing specialist, if we looked through your contacts, how many senior digital marketing specialists would say are in your connections?
Go for it. Take a look.
No. I'm just curious. Like 5, 100.
Probably like over 50.
Yeah.
So I'm a part of like a lot of digital marketing groups on LinkedIn as well as part of my network. And I went through and I just went, I connected through, different workshops and things like that. So that's, I'm meeting these people in these different companies and I'm networking. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want everyone to hear that, because you need to continue, not you, I'm talking about all of us,
Sure.
that network, those people that can open doors for you, continue. So, you know, I put in digital marketing specialist here and over 2 million people came up. So that means if I spend 20 minutes a day on LinkedIn connecting with other digital marketing specialists that I think maybe work in areas of the country where I want to be, or maybe they've got, you know, a decade in the business, whatever, they're people that can open up doors. You know, you should, I'm saying this to everybody, not just one person, continue to build that network so that if you've got your profile together and your about statement, right? Then you come over here and you look people up in the industry that you want to go into. In this case, I use the title to do that. And I go ahead and connect with some people. The first thing they're going to do, or, you know, I attempt to connect, the first thing they're going to do, we all know they're going to go back and they're going to read my statement. And then if they can now see my vision or what I want, right? Then that connection, because, okay, we see what's going to happen. There's a collaboration there. So to me, this is just how I feel. You guys tell me how you feel about this. I feel like if you spend 2 or 3 weeks, just 20 minutes a day, adding people to your network within the industry that you want to go into, immerse yourself, take every opportunity to build more relationships, right? Because, you know, LinkedIn has the world org chart right now. So, you know, with that many people, let's go ahead and get that, you know, now I'm just picking Kyle's, and I thank you for letting me use this, and Aaron, you know, let's go from 238 to, you know, 600 here over the next month. Just keep building that network. Does anyone see anything wrong with that or a downside to that? And I don't mean that in a snarky, sarcastic way. How do y'all feel about that?
If I can say, so I've actually since last, I was in your part of your workshop yesterday, and you said the same thing.
Yeah.
And I just went in and I did connection to Cougs as well, to Washington State, who are digital marketing specialists.
Yes.
And I went ahead and I just added like 100 of them. And I would say probably 75% of them accepted me just instantly because we have that past connection.
Just like that. Oh man, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, just like that. So, you know, yeah, Kyle, you mind if I explain that a little more for people?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, yeah. So what Kyle's talking about is we kind of, okay, so we looked up, and Aaron, I'm going to get to your comment in just a second. I'm going to follow up on that. You bring up digital marketing specialists, okay, 2 million people, quite a few people. But in terms of that feeling of, well, it kind of seems uncomfortable to connect with strangers. Yes, it does, right? But when we're talking about Cougs connecting with Cougs, right? So I'm gonna go ahead. Let me see if I can find the little, school. There we go. I can add school to the filter. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in Washington State. And then I'm gonna go ahead and let's see what kind of results we get now. So now I got 2,300 digital marketing specialists, and they're all Cougs. So
you see my name there, Bridget.
So who is going to refuse a Coug that reaches out, right? Especially when that Coug you reached out to goes back and reads your about statement and sees the title under your name and what you're trying to do, right? They were once in your position. They were once in that situation where they're finishing a degree, but they're trying to keep their career or kick that door open into the industry that they want to go into. So sometimes just start with other Cougs that are in the industry, right? There'll be some other students that are on here too, don't get me wrong. But again, you can find some people that kind of have some depth of career or time in the industry and reach out to them that way. The other thing you might want to do, okay, so Hannah Slater here, I'm going to just go to her site. I might check to see the activity to see if Hannah's been posting in the last, you know, what I'm trying to find out is Hannah active on here? And let's just say Hannah is, you know, active on here and everything. And well, I might decide to, instead of just trying to straight out connect, maybe I just want to, let's say Hannah, I can tell is posting information about internships, full-time jobs within her company. then I'm just going to follow. I don't even have to connect, right? So that as I get my notifications every day, when I, I'm getting updates from all the people that I'm following, and I'm telling you, every day that I'm on here, I probably see 15 or 20 positions where I'm following people and they posted positions, and I'll move those on to my students. When I can hear my students' dreams, their visions, what they want out of life, please, I file that away. I get to know the student, and then when I see an opportunity, I move it right toward them. Right? So, a lot of times you don't always just have to connect. You can just go ahead and follow the person. I follow, let me see if I can find this fellow just to give an example. Another example. Let me see. I think his name is Tom Emrich. Maybe it's spelled that way, James Bledsoe. Okay, I'm really into virtual reality. And I'm going to show you guys, everyone, something here at the end that I'm doing. But Tom is nationally renowned for VR and AR, augmented reality. I follow everything he posts, and I'm telling you, he's getting 3 or 4 things up there every day on the board about internships, about jobs. You see, he's hiring. I follow Tom, and I know one day he's going to reach out to me and say, "Hey, why don't you just connect with me?" And I'm like, "Well, I just wanted to follow you right now." But, I hope one day to actually get a chance to meet him, right? So again, just an example of, Aaron, what you were bringing up, a great point. Sometimes it's uncomfortable to connect with strangers, but I think on LinkedIn, when you find someone that's in the industry that you want to go into and they read your page, that makes that a little bit easier, and it's a process, but sometimes you can just follow people on that. So what I'm going to do now is, I don't know how many of you are using this feature to find jobs, because I kind of went over this last night, but you really ought to spend some time looking up the positions that you want to go into. So I'm going to just stick with that. I'm going to go with digital marketing this time. You really want to spend some time, for those of you that haven't seen this before. I put in just a position here, title, and I clicked on jobs. And so now I've got over 81,000 listings here, but now I can go in here and decide what job type I'm really looking for, whether it's internship, full-time, part-time, types of things. And you may say, well, James, I'm still 6 months out or a year out from graduating. I'm not necessarily looking for that full-time job. No, I get that. One thing I like to do, because again, I'm a career coach. Do I know what skills are needed for every occupation in the world? Nope. I constantly have to broaden my understanding of what's out there. So sometimes I'll just get in here and read the job descriptions, and it starts to basically, I kind of see, okay, I see what's needed for these types of positions, right? So you yourself, the student who's building their resume, you can begin to see, when I talk about understanding what skills the industry values, like right now. In some respects, it's the people who are in the know that are letting you know, okay, here's the type of skills we're looking for in the industry right now. But other times, it's just reading the job descriptions ahead of time, so that, again, you can look for these opportunities in the part-time jobs you have now, or look for an internship that gives you some of these skills so that you can better meet these qualifications, right? So if you know that, okay, you would love a position like this, and you've looked at, maybe you're seeing it pop up in 50 job descriptions, it's all saying working knowledge of HTML. Now I'm just pulling this together. Well, and you don't really have it, you got time to go get it, right? If you're still a year out from graduating, right? Go take that extra class, or go take that extra workshop. Or how many of you have heard of the Google certificates? Anyone following the Google certificates right now? Can I get a yes if you are, or just a no, never heard of it? I've heard of it. Okay, you're going to find out today. All right. All right, very good. I love going over new stuff. Google certificates. And 49. All right. Now let me say this before we get going. I went back to school to get a degree in career and technical education because the then president, this is 8-9 years ago, the then president said, I'm going to set aside $60 billion to promote career readiness. And when he said that, I said, you know what? I don't teach career and technical education, but they're going to need an advisor that helps people find their pathway. So that's why I went back to school, to acquaint myself with career readiness and become more of a specialist and an expert in it, right? So one of the principles of career and technical education is it wants industry to sit down with the universities and the faculty, and they discuss, here are the skills that we need students to have, infuse that into your curriculum. And then the schools do it, and then they offer the students not just a degree, but an industry recognized certificate that is now ready for you to get immediate employment, not just making $15 an hour. Now we're talking about salaries that are, salaries that are 60, 65, 70, that you can go to a community college and get an industry recognized certificate and go out and make $50,000 and raise your families, right? With little or no experience. Well, what Google has done, now this is my words right here, because I know exactly what they're doing. They're saying, universities, you're taking too long. We'll go ahead and train our own workforce. We have several 100,000 vacancies in the tech world right now, and we just don't have the skilled labor. So, all right. So Google says, all right, we're going to offer these certificates. And you see, they're getting you ready to make in the 60s, these certificates, all right? You can come back and read this later, or you can go to it right now. Here are the certificates. They've got 5: IT support, data analytics, project management, user design. I call it user design. Somebody might correct me. And Android development, right? So there's 5. If you take a closer look, they're saying, we don't care if you don't know anything about this. We'll start you from zero, right? And you'll get this done in 6 months or less. And then Google says, and you can read this off for yourself. I'm just helping you to summarize this. Google says, we'll treat these as 4-year degrees in our company. You can find it for yourself. Please trust me on this. I would not even put myself out there if I hadn't first reviewed this over and over. They will treat these certificates as 4-year degrees internally within Google, right? And then on top of that, they went out, and let me see if I can find it quickly here. Let me see if I can get see all these employers? They got over 100. They went out and got over 100 employers to get with them. And so when you finish these certificates, all these companies as well, they're ready to look at your credentials. They're ready to look at your resume and your credential, and they're ready to pull you in. So if Google doesn't get you first, these companies will. And you can go on YouTube and try to listen to people that have done it, or people that, have the 4-year degrees in some of these technical areas, and they're kind of critiquing it. I'm telling you, I can't find one person that says don't do it. There might be some people that say, well, yeah, I guess it's all right, but wouldn't you rather have a 4-year degree? Yeah, no. I get all that, right? And you should get your 4-year degree. You should get it. But what's wrong with upskilling, adding a certificate to it? Listen, I had to put my money where my mouth is, because it's $49 a month. And they say it shouldn't take you more than 6 months to finish this. So it's $240, 6 times 50, no, 300, sorry. So it's $300 total that you'll end up paying. But if you finish early, then you just finish early. So if you finish the certificate in 3 months, then that's $150. Well, I had to put my money where my mouth is. So I went on and signed up, right? So I'm doing the IT support right now because I figure I'm working from home. I have nothing against my IT team, but they're working from home too. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to figure out how to fix my own computers and I'll do my own support, right? But then I'll be able to go through the classes and then report back to the students what I learned and how difficult or how challenging is it or how good is it. But that's what I'm doing. I think I have I give myself about 45 more days, and it will have taken me a total of 60 days. So 2 months total to finish this. I'm getting through it. So, are there shorter term, more specific certificates that would be beneficial to have? Okay, good question, Allison. So I like these. Um, what I do in my one-on-ones is I try to help people find their certificates. So it just depends on, what industry that you want to go into. But yes, there's always shorter ones that maybe are a month long, right? But here's the key, Allison and everyone else. Always make sure that their industry, not certified, but recognized. I'm sorry, they're industry recognized. That person that's offering that certificate got together with employers who are aware of what is in that certificate, that curriculum, and they're ready to hire people that come out of that program, right? So you just don't want to take any old certificate. Make sure it doesn't lead to stairs to nowhere. That's the key, right? So absolutely, there are shorter ones. I don't have any right here that I can show you, but I guarantee you, you make a one-on-one appointment with me. You give me a couple days to get those together. I'll have them for you. But anyway, I know some of my faculty might be upset that I showed this, but I'm sorry. This is a way to upskill. You graduate with a 4-year degree. There's nothing wrong with doing this. If you've got an extra 45 minutes a day on the side, there's nothing wrong with doing these types of certificates to build your skill sets, right? All right. Does anyone want me to touch base a little bit more on the LinkedIn profile? I mean, yeah, okay. So I'm paying a little extra to get the premium. I think I'm paying $29. But I noticed over here in the learning one day, I clicked on that button. And what it did is they've got courses in here and, learning LinkedIn for students. And so I look at a lot of this stuff. As you can see, some of the check marks here on the left-hand side, I go in there and I listen to the videos and things like that. And so everything I say, I've gotten it directly, from the horse's mouth. So I'm not trying to just put my own perspective out there. I'm putting the stuff out that LinkedIn is talking about and other companies and professionals are. So if you can take some of these learning classes within LinkedIn, they're really good. They're really good. And then the other day, I wanted to show a video. I have it now. I'm hoping I can show that in just a little bit. But they're going to come out. LinkedIn, Microsoft Teams is teaming up with LinkedIn. Well, they own it. And they're going to come up with a super duper networking feature for younger professionals. When I say younger professionals, just people who either you're in college or you went back to school to upskill, but people who are looking to retool and get back in the workforce, whatever. But there's a networking promotional thing they're going to release here in a few weeks, but I'll get that out right before I leave. So you want to be a part of that. And it's going to really be a game changer, I believe. The only other thing I wanted to touch base on is all of you are WSU students. And so how's your profile looking? Oh, wait a minute. Do you think having a premium LinkedIn profile helps when searching for a job? Okay. I believe yes. Now here's why. I go back and forth on purpose. I pay for a month and then I cancel for a month. And then I pay for 2 months and I cancel for 2 months. I notice a big difference in the information that comes to me. I notice a big difference. So I think it's worth, not saying you got to pay every month for 12 months straight, but they let you pay as you go. So even if you just did the premium for, the $29 for a month, I think it's worth it to help you to boost your job searching, resources, abilities. I think it's worth it. Absolutely. But like I say, I wouldn't go the whole year with the premium. I wouldn't do that. I think you'll find a job before then, or find what you're looking for. I'm sorry, before then. But yeah, I think premium does make a difference, in what I've experienced. So now, how do you all feel about your profiles in Handshake? Has anyone used Handshake and gotten some good results from it, or? Oh boy, I love reading the chats there. Okay, so I really think everyone should give Handshake a chance because there are so many employers. Yeah, mixed results. Yeah. More and more employers are using Handshake, and Handshake specifically targets college students with little or no experience. But then if you have a lot of experience, more power to you, right? But that's the difference. LinkedIn is pretty much the world. So you're dealing with people that may have a decade or 15 years experience trying to apply for the same job you're going for. Whereas Handshake is, they expect you may have little or no experience. And, you know, so if you see a job or an internship listed here, you don't have to worry whether or not there's accepting applications. If it's listed, they're accepting because there are deadlines put on these jobs. And as soon as the deadline comes, the whole job disappears. So if you see it, you can apply for it. But what I wanted to show now, it's easy enough to go ahead and put in, for instance, I might even not even put in a job title in the search. I might just put an academic area, right? So I put in biology. 741 jobs came up related to, because I put in biology. Maybe I want to see which one of those are full-time jobs. So I click the tab there, 537. Maybe I want to see which ones are just internships, and I go there. I think as Elizabeth alluded to, you can use the filters to kind of target different areas of the country. That's what the filters are for. And, don't give up on the first try. Like, if I'm looking for something in the sciences, then use different terminology to describe the sciences, right? And just really give it some time to get in there. I did show the group last night that if maybe we're not where we want to be in the world by summer, and we're still, we're still dealing with the pandemic thing going on. And maybe you decide you do want to do an internship this summer, but you wouldn't mind doing a remote internship. So I had to sit through an hour workshop about a month ago to get this information, just this one little bit of information. And that is, you can look up remote internships here, but what you really want to do is, it works better if you put it in quotations, put remote in there. Let's see what happens. I saw 1,300 things come up. All right, so this is truly remote. So that right now there's 662 remote jobs in here today. Maybe by Friday there's 700, or maybe there's 500, but there's constantly being updated. So I put it in the quotation and remote. And so I know these are remote jobs that have come up. Again, these are internships rather. So I can go to full-time jobs and do the same thing. 796. Now, if you want to get specific, let's see if I can get, so now I put in the term social work with it outside of the quotation marks. So now I found, let's see if I can just go with just internship here. I'm kind of giving it too much to think about. All right, there we go. So now I asked for internships that are remote, social work related. 234 internships came up that are remote, right? So again, you learn everything you can about Handshake. I go to the different workshops and I learn stuff all the time. Again, only because I want to pass it on to you all, the students. Make sure you get in here over to your pick over here on the right side, and come on down here to career interests and make sure this is up to date. All this information in here, what type of job you're looking for, full-time internship. Handshake uses all this information, right, to bring jobs and internships to your attention that it thinks fits you, right? But if you don't fill this out, even things that are remotely interesting to you, get it on here, click it. All it's going to do is bring you the information. It's not going to commit you to anything, and you can change it every day if you wanted to, right? So I click things every time I come on here. I click something new: advertising, design, journalism. Now, why am I doing all this? I want to make sure I get this information and pass it on to the student. If I hear about a really cool, neat internship doing this, that, or the other, I'll make sure those students know about it. So make sure you get the graduation date, save your results, all that stuff. But then when you log in, that's what this information here is all about. It's bringing you, now right now I have internships clicked, so it's bringing me internships So every day I log in, Handshake has done work for me, right? And I can get in here and click on something, a microbiology research intern, and I can go ahead and check it out. And I'm ready to apply. Boom, I go ahead and do that. Now, you pretty much, again, going back to your profile, you want to have this done. Now, you can talk about the journey you've taken in your journey statement or the journey you want to take, right? I'm telling you the journey I want to take. I want to be the director of the U.S. Department of Education, right? And then I'm really going to try to change the game for everybody and create opportunity for everybody. But anyway, that's another topic. You want to fill this out because Handshake uses this information. So it doesn't just use your career interests. It also uses what you're putting in your journey statement, what you're putting in your resume, right? Because I've got my resume down here somewhere that I put in here. Sorry to go so fast. So I've got my resume in here, a placeholder, I've got the skill sets, any types of skill, personality traits. I've got everything here. I put everything. Don't be afraid to check all things that apply, because not only is Handshake using that data, but the employer recruiters on the other end, they are using that data as well to find you, right? So, whatever. If I am working for Microsoft and my boss tells me, hey, we're going to do I need you to find, we're going to hire 200 interns for the summer of 2022. We need 200 interns. I want you to find them. And I'm going to say, okay, I don't feel like going to 50 different college campuses. I'm going to use Handshake. I'm going to find out people. I'm going to search for people to kind of match some of the skills and experiences that are in the job description of the internship. And I'm going to message them. And I figure if I can message 800 students nationwide through Handshake, I know I'll get at least 200 positions filled up, and I've traveled nowhere. So there's almost like a digital divide is being created once again if you leave yourself outside, right? So some people will ask me, what do you think is better? Should I do Indeed, LinkedIn, Handshake? And I say all the above. If there are employers there looking for people, then you need to be there. You need to be in that space. Come to the ascc.wsu.edu, click on Career Services, and go to Overview, and then just come right here. These two tools are great. What can I do with this major? But then also Candid Career. And I'll just show this real quick in the last 30 seconds. Candid Career has over 7,000 professionals that have been interviewed talking about what they do and how they do it. And you can look people up by industry, career title, major, you name it. And what happens is when you listen to these professionals, like I'll get this person here. I'm just clicking on whoever I get to first. I should have gone to social work since somebody brought up social work.
My name is Stephen Short. I'm a staff attorney with the.
So what happens is they're going to answer these questions down here at the bottom. So the first question is, tell us your job description. And then less than 3 minutes, he's going to tell you. What are your loves and challenges about being an attorney? Less than 3 minutes, they're going to tell you. How did you prepare? And there's 5 different questions that go across the board that they answer. And so you can begin to look at it that way. My favorite way to use this in my last 10 seconds is I list them by major. I group everybody by major. Because then what I can do is, let me see if I can find a good number of people here. Sorry. Blah, 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 blah. Let's get some. Okay, architect. Well, that's pretty straightforward. I know I'm coming to the end here. I got 5 more seconds. Don't worry. I'm going to pull up psychology real quick. Okay, I got the psychology people. Sorry to skip through this. And for instance, psychology. So I was able to find 62 people that have a psych degree. And now I can get in here and I see what they did. This person became an academic advisor, alumni relations. So you see what each one of them did with their degree. But then again, you're able to click on them and get that insight that they have.
I'm Claire Spooner. And
about what they're doing. So they always go across here and answer those questions, right? But there are a lot of other things that are in here that you can use: resume writing, interview tips, networking, and more. If you go through the WSU portal, you'll be able to get here and use it for free. If you try to go straight to the Candid Career site, it won't work for you. You won't have full access. So go through WSU portal to get, meaning ascc.wsu.edu. Andrea, thank you so much for posting that up there.